Welcome to Connect to Joy. Your host, Carol DeChaine, is an intuitive spiritual guide for practical matters and Marconic multidimensional energy practitioner. Her quest is to help you realize new possibilities, discover and release what holds you back, and enable you to manifest an inspired life filled with joy. Join us on this journey of transformation. Now, here's your host, Carol DeChaine.
Hello, beautiful spirits. Welcome to the show. I'm Carol DeChaine, and my passion in life is to help you find your joy, to release what holds you back, and assist you to quantum leap your journey of self-discovery. I'm an intuitive, certified in life and business coaching, and a multidimensional energy light worker. So if you're ready to start creating that life you've always dreamed of, that you deserve, let's have some fun and let's get started right now. Today, we're going to be talking about wanting more. When I was looking at this and thinking about what I wanted to talk about, the phrase kept going through my head over and over again. There's got to be something better than this. There's got to be. And being an intuitive, usually when things keep coming back over and over again, and actually, this is for everybody, not just me, there's something more and there's something deeper to it. So I finally realized, yes, I know it's attached to a song I used to sing when I was in Sweet Charity. It's a show that I did a long time ago, but it's a great song. And I thought, well, maybe it's the words from the song. And then when I sang it to myself, I went, oh, yeah, that's it. So bear with me. There's got to be something better than this. There's got to be something better to do. And when I find me something better to do, I'm going to get up. I'm going to get out. I'm going to get up, get out, do it. But do we do that? So if there's got to be something better than where you are, if you find out what it is, will you get up and you get out and actually do it or live what you want? That's what the show is about. We're going to be looking at what's working for you now so you can be grateful for those things. But what's not working? What is it that there's got to be something more? And the third thing is what's missing. Because what's not working is not what's missing. There's something missing. There's something positive and something you want to do or be or become that's not there. And the last part we're going to talk about is what happens when you figure it out. So you know if you're on the path or not. So you know if you're being in the flow and what it feels like. So you can be comfortable knowing that you're headed in the direction you want. So first off, if you're still with me after I sang to you, what do you feel? Do you feel unhappy right now? Do you feel kind of uneasy about your life? Bored? Do you feel like blah? Or do you just crave more? Crave something that you probably don't know what it is? If you feel stuck, that's one possibility. Your life, you may just want more, but you may have already gotten a goal and now you're going, okay, now what? I don't have another goal. This was it. I'm here. I'm arrived. Is that all there is? Oh, that's another song. I promise not to sing it. Is there more? Is there? What is there? Where do you want to go from here? So the first question, of course, is do you know what you want? Because if you do, then you can have a chance to move forward. But if you don't, what is it? And either way, maybe you're just making excuses for not changing. I can do that. I'm really good. I'm the champion excuse maker, so I'm not telling anybody else something I don't do. When I was a kid, I should have won a blue ribbon for excuse making or won the champion belt, black belt in excuse making. Maybe that's it. Or had the queen, had the tiara as the queen of excuse making because I took no responsibility for anything. When you make excuses, that's what you do. I made excuses for, oh, Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't do it. Because she'd say, who put the bubble bath in the toilet? And I'd go, I don't know. I never said I didn't do it. I just said, I don't know. And as I got older, my mother would still ask me, I'd still say, I don't know. And the only sibling I have is 9 years older than me. And at some point she did move out. And my mother goes, so who did it? And I go, I don't know. And she'd go, Carol, it's me and you and the dog. And I went, yeah, it wasn't me. And I said, well, it could be the dog. So literally, I was making excuses with making even zero sense. So I'm not sure how champion I was at it, but I did make them. So if you don't want to change, and you make excuses to yourself, right? Well, I have other priorities. I have other things that are more important to me. I have to take care of the kids. I'll do it when, if you know what it is, you might keep doing that. I'll do it when other people are happy. I'll do it when I have more money to do it. I'll do it when I have more time to do it. But in the meantime, you feel like there's got to be more. There's got to be something better than this, somewhere to go. But if you do what I did and kind of took no responsibility, and I sort of blamed others by not actually blaming others, I just didn't take responsibility myself. But when you do that and you do blame others, you give away your control and your own power. You're saying, hey, it's them. It's not me. They did that to me. They didn't let me do it. Or I'll do it when they're happy. It's the same sort of thing because you're giving away your power to when they're happy. You don't have any control if they're happy. You can love them and treat them well in your life, whoever it may be. And they, whoever they is to you, they may never be happy, which means you've given your power of your life to someone else. Another thing that might be happening is that you're allowing the fairy godmother to get you out of a problem, someone else to rescue you instead of yourself. Instead of taking that responsibility, you're saying, oh, I want the fairy godmother to come along and boink, here I am. Now I'm Cinderella and I have the coach if you're a woman or a man. If you are feeling like Prince Charming or someone will come and rescue you and carry you off, well, it can happen. So I'm going to tell you a story about a man. It's a man who prayed, and he prayed and prayed, asking God for help because his boat was sinking. And he was saying, God, help me. Oh my God, my boat's sinking, because he was kind of in the middle of nowhere. And this little boat came by and he said, oh, hey, come on, jump in the water. Come over here. I'll help you. And the guy goes, oh, no, it's okay. I prayed to God. He'll save me. It's okay. And the guy looks at him and goes, okay, see ya. And so he leaves and he keeps praying and praying. And then a motorboat comes by. It's much bigger. And the guy goes, here, let me throw you a life ring. And you can come on, jump in the water. And he goes, no, it's okay. God's going to save me. He goes, yay, you look like your boat's sinking. He goes, no, it's okay. Don't worry. And he goes, okay, this guy's crazy. And then he leaves. So he keeps praying. And finally, this giant yacht comes by. And the guy, there's like all these people on the deck. They say, hey, come on. We'll send our little boat, our dinghy over to you so you can jump in it. And he's going, no, it's fine. God's going to come get me. I've already prayed for it. I know it's okay. And of course, after they all laugh and say, well, throw up their hands in disgust and say, fine, you don't want to live. And they leave and the boat sinks and he dies. And he goes and he talks to God and says, okay, what was that all about? You were supposed to save me. And God throws his hands up and says, I did give you 3 opportunities to live. And he said, and you kept asking, so I kept giving you a bigger boat, so maybe you'd get it. And of course, God did help him. His prayers were answered, but it wasn't in the form he expected. So sometimes when you're looking for wanting more or wondering what you want, it may be a thunderbolt idea. You might go, aha, God saved me. This is the answer. This is what I asked for. But you may get it in a form you don't expect. So you have to pay attention. Pay attention to what you want, and then pay attention to what people say around you. It could be a spoken word that you overhear somebody say. You weren't even listening, and all of a sudden, whoa, what did that person say? And they may never know that they affected and impacted your entire life. But you know. You know that you heard a movie phrase that came from nowhere. I was listening to the movie about Meryl Streep where she can't sing. I forget the name of the movie. And at one point towards the end, she says, this is my life purpose. This is why I'm doing this, even though she couldn't sing. And my thought, I was thinking about life coaching at the time and I hadn't done it yet. And I went, oh, that's the reason why I'm seeing this movie. I'm thinking about doing that. And this is the line that's impacting me from this whole movie. I didn't care about the movie that much. It was okay. But the line, and thank you to the writers and the director for not cutting it, for editors, because that impacted me in a huge way. It might come from anybody. It might be from a piece of advice you get from somebody who didn't even ask for the advice, but you get it. So when you're wanting more, when you think there's got to be something better than this, listen for opportunities that show up, for words and phrases that people say that may be that answer that you're looking for. I want you to realize that there are different parts of your story that may not be your whole life you need a shift in. I want you to think about each area. What needs to change? Is it the whole thing or just a small part of it? Or maybe that area of your life is great. So if you're looking at your love life, Is it fabulous the way it is? Is there just a few tweaks you'd like to make? Is there always something, isn't there? Maybe a little more communicating, doing a little better. Or perhaps it's your career where you just aren't happy where you're at and you need a whole new career. Or maybe just a whole new job. Or maybe you need to tweak it somehow. So just look at these and see where the biggest areas are that you want to change. Perhaps you have no financial freedom and you're stuck. You need to look at that and see where you want to shift and grow and make it something more so you have the freedom to travel and do what you want. Perhaps it's family ties and how you interact with your family other than just your loved one or your friends. Perhaps you have no time, and that's where you want something different. You want something more. Or like I said, it could be your entire area of your entire life. And don't worry about figuring anything out, because things will start coming to you as you start opening yourself out to possibilities. And that's what life is about, isn't it? It's about when you want more to open yourself up to possibilities. Even if you think you're on the path you need to be, other possibilities may show up. Things that you wouldn't even think of doing. Like maybe this show for me. Not something that was on my, excuse the pun, radar. It wasn't something I ever thought about doing, but it was a natural progression. It was the thing I'm going to talk about later, about being in the flow, knowing when things come up and things are right for you. So we want to make sure that you start allowing yourself to listen, to be more. That's my wish for you, to be able to allow yourself to be more aware, to pay more attention to what's going on around you, be more in the present, because that's when you're going to see exactly what you want. You don't just want to focus on what the negative, on what's not working. You want to really appreciate your life first, to look at each area and figure out what's working for you. So let's do that now. If you look at what's working, what your strengths are, and you have gratitude for it, you'll start attracting more of those things to you. So let's look at your love life. I like to start there because that's kind of an obvious place to start because it's always in your face. It's like, do you have one or do you not? Is it working? Is it not? What are you grateful for about it? If you don't have a love life right now, maybe you're grateful that you've had love in the past, or you're grateful that you're a good partner when you have someone. Whatever you're grateful for and you look at your strengths in a relationship, don't just look at the lack, look at what is the positive part. And if you aren't getting along well with someone that you're with, think about what you're grateful for. Maybe you're just grateful that you have someone to go do things with. Or you're grateful that when they are there, that you have fun. Even if they aren't a responsible person, don't even look at the negative in this section. Look at what's positive. Look at what you're grateful for and how good you are at the sections of your life as we go through them. What about the area of your life that is part of your career or your job? Are you grateful for the fact that you do it well? Or the fact maybe you get paid well? Maybe there's no commute. What are you grateful for about this? You may find that you're grateful for the whole thing. It works great for you. There's only maybe one minor thing. It's not that you're feeling there's wishing more for. Maybe you need a lot more. Maybe it's one of those that is one of your major choices that you need, and that's where you're going, that's the spot. But be aware, write down if you need to come back to these. Just look at what you're grateful for. In the area of your finances, maybe you do have money. You have no problems. Or maybe you're grateful that you're making money. You're grateful that you have enough to pay your bills. Whatever the gratitude part is and what's working for you, be grateful in that area. Perhaps your strength in this area is knowing how to deal with money because it's a skill. You're not born with it. They don't teach this. It's a skill that you learn on how to deal with money. Some people become better at it than others. They're more interested in it than others. So if you don't have interest and you're not good at it, it's a learned skill. You need to put attention on it. It's an area of your life that you can look at and see what you're grateful for. And you'll look at later what's not working. And then keep going through different areas, the areas that stand out to you. Perhaps it's traveling. Perhaps it's dealing with your children or your parents or your siblings. Perhaps it's your friends. Look at what you're grateful for in each area, because that will show you your strengths. It'll show you that you do have a lot already and you don't just need more. Or if you feel like you're wasted your life, which I had at one point, and then I had people say, what, are you nuts? You haven't wasted your life. I said, but I want to do more. I want to be more. Something's missing. So if you've been there, I've been there. I understand. But if you look at what you're good at and what you've done and what the positive things are from where you're at, before you look at what's missing, you'll come at it with a better mindset. You'll feel better about yourself, just to start with. And then the second step, of course, is to find out what's not working. Now, don't get bogged down, because this is easy to get bogged in, pulled in, sucked in, and all of a sudden you're in the negative and you're stuck there. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do it now. So first, pick 3 things that you know for sure, or 3 areas of your life that you know there's something more you want, whether it's the whole thing or whether it's 3 things that you're going, finances, or I need something with finances. I need something with just making a difference in my life. Maybe that's what you want. It may not be a specific area. It may just be in general, and that's all okay. But when you start getting into the areas of your life that you want to take that moment and look at, I don't want you to get stuck in that negativity. So take a step back and look at yourself as though you're from a third person, a third party perspective, so you don't get stuck in your emotions and on the being down on yourself area. So if you look at what's not working in your love life, going back to that again, start with, look at it from someone else. If they're looking at you, what do you hear your friends tell you? If they're really good friends, they're probably telling you the truth. They're probably telling you you're too good for that person. You're putting up with too much. They may tell you that that person is mean to you. They may tell you, whatever the negative things that you have heard, be aware of what they've said. Don't take it in and work on it right now and chew it over and really be concerned. Think about what it is. What is it that doesn't work for you right now? Look at your job. Maybe what doesn't work is the fact you have an 1.5-hour commute and you don't get to spend time with your family. If you're spending 3 hours in the car every day and another 7 or 8 hours working, if you have a job far away from you, that's not working. Perhaps what's not working is the fact that your boss is, horses patoot. They're not very good. Maybe they're not good at their job, but maybe also they're just not kind. They're pushy. They seem mean. They don't appreciate you. I mean, whatever it is, that's just not working. You just don't care for your boss, period. Don't need to go into details. Just realize third-party perspective, it's not working. And then as you go through these, find the different things that are not working. You need to do this on your own, because obviously I can't work with you one-on-one right here other than to be an overview. But if you look at these things, at the financial freedom, do you have it? What's not working? You're not getting paid enough. Okay, that's one piece. Don't go into depth. Just go, okay, that's one thing. I'm not making enough money there. I'm not having enough to pay my bills. Okay, that's not working for me. I'm not, doing something else, or something else is not working for me in the finance department. I have too many bills. That's not working. Whatever it may be, don't get stuck. Move on to the next area of your life. Look at maybe how you interact with your family, whether that means your spouse and your children all as a cohesive whole, or you're looking at that. What's not working? Maybe there's no communication. Everybody's separate and apart and they don't come together anymore, so you don't know what's happening. There could be any number of things. Just be aware, name them out loud, say, okay, those are the 3 things, moving on. Don't get stuck. As you work your way through, know that knowing these things is going to be really good for you. It's going to be really what you need. When you look at the third thing, it's about what's missing. The third step is, now that you know the grateful things and what is working, what's not working, what actually is missing from the sections of your life that you're looking at, or from your life itself. It's an awareness about what you actually want here. It's not about the negative. It's about how you quantify it. It's about making a difference. Is that what it's about? Is it about loving yourself more? Is it about doing more and mattering more to people? What is it that you want? So if you start by the small things, if you can't answer the big question on your life in general, you want to look at the whole and what you want to fill it with. So if you know what's negative and what's not working, you want to fill it with the positive. So instead of looking at, I have a bad boss, what is missing? You want to be appreciated instead. You want to have a short commute instead. You want to be appreciated. That's what's missing. Those are the things that you'd like. You'd like to have appreciation. You'd like to have a boss that appreciates you, who maybe compliments you, or who understands when there's a problem. You want someone who will appreciate you so much that maybe they don't just compliment you. Maybe they give you raises and they give you commissions or bonuses or whatever it is. And so you want to look at what's missing. You want the love that's missing from a romantic relationship. You want to look at the things that you want in there instead. So let go of what's not working, but look at what wasn't working and fill it up with something that would make it work for you. What's missing? And again, if you look at each area of your life, you want to make sure that you know for you what it is that's going to be the best, what it is that is going to work as you move along, rather than looking at those things that aren't. What you want to change is generally a lower vibration than where you want to go. And this could be a really long conversation, so I won't go into it very long, but just to say, realize that when you start releasing the fears and the stuff and the fear of change, the fear of failure, the blame you might be placing on the past or on another person, or guilt, or any of those things that are kind of a lower vibrational feeling, where they feel heavy. When you start shifting out of those and knowing what you want to change to move forward, you start shifting your perspective. You start shifting what you want. You start looking at maybe having to be out of your comfort zone just a little bit. Those are things that can get really interesting, because when you start releasing your fears, you start moving forward and you start shifting into, this is more positive. This is where I want to be. These are things that will start coming to you. You won't have to look for them when you start adjusting your thinking. Mindset is everything in almost every part of your life. And letting go of fear, all that fear of changes, and what we do is fear of not being sure of ourselves. When people start shifting their perspective about what they want, about how they feel about it, then answers start coming. I'm going to give you an example of growth and being out of your comfort zone. And I touched on it earlier, which is about this radio show for me. So my example is that this would never in a million of years have been my thing. But I started out in theater when I was young, loved talking, but I wasn't, you talk as yourself and you write your own material. No, thank you. I was a person who was really comfortable reading other people's lines, memorizing them, hiding behind the person, the persona of the character. And that was all I wanted to do. But when I became a life coach and I wanted to make a difference, and I wanted to, well, for some unknown reason, I couldn't even figure out for myself, I decided I wanted to do more than one-on-ones. I wanted to do workshops and be with a group setting. And that was never me before. So because of that, I stepped into the Toastmasters world. Scared the heck out of me. Thought, oh my God, this is not something I'm comfortable with. I mean, talk about having fear and not wanting to show up and shaking before you talk the first time and not being able to get through it. That was me, because I was being myself and people might judge me as me rather than as the character. And it's really different. And then, of course, from there, Toastmasters, I got more and more comfortable. And then I led to YouTube. So I have a lot of YouTube videos now. And when the show came up, it felt like the next line in where I was headed. And you're going to find that when you start getting in the flow of what you want, this sort of thing starts happening for you. Each one stretched me out of my comfort zone by, a lot. I felt super uncomfortable with the Toastmasters because it was my first step into being myself in public. I mean, speeches, no thank you. Talking, no thank you. One-on-one in a party, okay, but not in a group. So those things were all uncomfortable for me. Taking this journey really shows that I can do more and be more and fill my life with those things that matter to me. So when you think there's got to be something more than this, you're right. There is always something more. But reaching for those things and being willing to find them, what brings you more joy, sometimes pushes you so far out of your comfort zone, you may scuttle back for a while and go, I'm not going today. I've had a few of those weeks in Toastmasters. I've gone, don't think I'll go. Don't want to go. But if you pull yourself up, decide, yes, this is what I want. Then sometimes it does take those extra pushes to move forward. And other times it'll be effortless. You'll find though, when you start getting into the flow, which I'm going to talk about in more detail in a moment, you're going to start prioritizing things in a new way. Your people that you're around, the job you have, the loved ones, just each thing will start changing and morphing and feeling like you have a different way of interacting with people. Because some of those little things that used to annoy you won't bother you as much anymore because they're not important. They won't matter. Those rough edges that you feel are being kind of grated against won't happen. You start being able to find these answers for yourself. And where do you want to go? And that something better than this song, you will be willing to get up and get out and do it. Or live it. Live what you want to do. But it does take getting up off the couch and being aware of where you want to go. So when you do shift your gears and you do allow yourself to be a little bit more focused on what it is and that pay attention to what's happening around you to give you those answers that you've asked for, you're going to know you're in the flow. As things start moving forward, there's going to be a knowingness. You're going to start releasing the questioning feeling that you have, like, what is it? What is it? But in order to do that, you have to ask for what you want. I want more. I want whatever it is you want. I want to be happier. I want to be more joyful. I want to be appreciated in my job. Whatever it is you want, then say, show me how to make this happen. Those are the two things you want to say, because you need to be in the flow in order to know that things are working well. Because when you start saying, show me, you're going to start getting answers. And the one thing I always do when I start getting into a flow is to say, give me confirmation. Whoever you're talking to, God or your higher self or whoever, ask for confirmation you're going in the right direction. It happened a while back now, but when my best friend and I decided we were going to move somewhere, and we decided that we were going to look at all 50 states because we were young and we had no problems, no connections, no rents, no mortgages, no husbands, nothing. So we thought, okay, let's get together and decide. It was tipping out of our comfort zone, but we decided we wanted to make a change. We looked at all 50 states, and that day we got it down to 10. And then between the two of us, we did it on our own. And then together we discussed it, and we got it down to 5, and then down to 3 that we both agreed with. I don't know why we came up with these 3, but it ended up being Texas, Colorado, and Washington State. And then we went off on our own and said, okay, we're going to ask for confirmation of which one we need to go in. Where do we need to be? We didn't talk about it again until the following week. When we met up the next week, I looked at her and she looked at me and we each said, I know where we want to go. And she said, oh God, I hope it's the same place. And I said, I know. And I said, okay, 1, 2, 3. And we both said Colorado. And I went, whoa, okay, why did this happen? Why did you decide on Colorado? And she had said, well, I've talked to people just being around. I haven't mentioned I was thinking of moving. I didn't mention the 3 states. People started talking to me about Colorado. Nothing else, just Colorado. None of the other 2 states, no. And I said, yeah, I've had the same thing. I had somebody look me square in the eye and said, are you thinking of moving? And I said, oh, maybe. And she said, you should try Colorado. And I said, why? And she said, I don't know. It just feels right for you. And I looked at her and I said, have you been there? She said, no. It just feels, I didn't even ask. And that's the kind of confirmations that both of us got over and over again. And usually it's in 3s. But sometimes, like with the guy on the boat who was praying to God, it doesn't need to be the yacht before you realize it. If you get a couple of confirmations, you might go, okay, thanks, I got it. But you need to ask for confirmations. So I'm going to tell you about a confirmation that was even more in my face, because this may even help you more understand why that you need to ask for confirmations. And this is me telling you that, yes, I indeed did talk to a therapist. It was for a short time about a specific thing, because I had needed, and I decided I wanted to talk to a male therapist. I spoke to somebody on the phone on the way, and I felt uncomfortable. I wasn't sure. It was my first time ever talking to a therapist. I thought, well, I'm not sure if I should do this. And I was on my way to Toastmasters, and I had made an appointment with this man. And I thought, I don't know. But when I asked for confirmation. Within 20 minutes, I reached Toastmasters. I got there, and the second speech that night was called Just Do It, which is, of course, the Nike trademark name or wording. And the guy was talking, and he said, you're talking about his inner critic and how we all feel we're not good enough sometimes. And how do you silence the inner critic? And he looked right at me, because that was actually what I was going to work on with this guy. He looked at me and he goes, therapy. And he pointed at me when he said it and he goes, just do it. And I thought, okay, that was it. That was my confirmation. Honestly, I mean, how much more straightforward confirmation can you get than somebody looking at you, saying exactly what you were going for and saying, just do it. So I did. I actually took the appointment with the man and I went with him for a couple of months to work on the inner critic and not being good enough in a specific situation. It was hysterical because I got such an instant confirmation. And you can get those things too. When you're feeling calm and you have a quiet amazement about the way the flow is going, you know you're headed in the right direction. So when you ask for something better and you're looking at wanting more, when you start feeling like you're in the flow of somewhere, you know that you're headed in the right direction. But looking at that, sometimes I know that we fight things. If you're working towards something and there is a problem and it comes up, you might feel like you're giving in, that you're giving up and walking away, or you're struggling with it, making it happen. When you're struggling on in spite of everything, sometimes that goal, that vision, that thing you're working towards, it may not be exactly where you're supposed to go. So maybe you need to go ahead and pick up, if you're in a canoe and you're paddling upstream, trying really hard and going and going and going, maybe you need to take your paddle out of the water and allow yourself to float in whatever direction it takes you. Even if it's just for a few moments and it might feel like you're out of control and you're not working towards your goal, see where it takes you. Try it for a few days and see if other opportunities don't show up to take you in the direction that might be better for you. So if you're looking at where your life is supposed to go next, or where that something better is for you, then perhaps you're struggling too hard to find it. Perhaps picking up that paddle out of that canoe and going in that direction, wherever it may take you, is actually what it is you're supposed to do. I said it twice because I want you to think about it. I want you to realize that struggle isn't always the way to go, because sometimes there's something better out there for you. And sometimes we want to do it anyway, because this is what I want. This feels right. And I'm not going to say you shouldn't do it then, but I want you to be aware that sometimes it may only be a tweak to it's not like you're going in a whole different channel, a whole different direction within that boat that I'm talking about in that canoe. Maybe you're just adjusting it minutely. So then all of a sudden you'll be where you need to be. Don't feel like you have to give up where you want to go. Just feel like maybe you need to pay more attention and to allow yourself to be moving along in this way that feels less forced. But if you do give in easily, you're letting go, the other side wins, whatever, you're kind of going, fine, let them have it. Let them win. You're going to have a feeling of kind of annoyance in your life about what's happening with this. You may not be as open then. You need to feel like you're in the place you need to be in and not that you're giving up or walking away. Because giving in and walking and giving up are almost the same thing, but they're a little different. When you give up, you walk away, you throw your hands up and you go, yeah, whatever. But if you don't give up, you allow whatever it is that's supposed to happen, then you'll be more open instead of giving up 100% on your dream or letting someone else have your dream or your direction that you want to take. You're just allowing yourself to hear and be in that flow and knowing that you can have it rather than saying, fine, or struggling so hard you can't get along at all. So remember, if you're feeling stuck or you feel like life is passing you by, or maybe it has, and you feel like, I wasted my life. Like I said, I was there at one point. If you say that out loud to somebody who loves you, they'll go, no, because sometimes you need to talk to someone. Let me tell you. And whether that's the person that you're around that loves you, that will be there for you, whether you need a third party to listen to, like a minister, or you email me and we talk, whatever it is, do it before you get to that last place in your life that you go, okay, I'm snapping now because I need help. Don't need to wait until that long. If you feel like you can, whoever you go to, make sure you feel like you can trust them, because sometimes we just need that little extra push. We need that little extra party that's from outside. If you can't step out on your own to look at how things are going, to get a third party perspective, because sometimes you can do that. You step back and you look at your life and you go, oh, okay. this is great, this is great, this is the area I need help on. Then you can find help, or you can do it for yourself. Because just getting clarity is a huge step in knowing what you want next. To be able to say, I know what the next something better is. It's something that'll make me feel good. It's something that will maybe make a difference to someone else. Don't wait for someone to come and rescue you. There are people, as I said, with that boat, there are people there that will help you, but you don't need to necessarily wait for them. You can just reach out, or you can be aware of what's going on around you and pay attention and hear that help for yourself without even helping to pray long prayers and get so caught in your mind of exactly what you need to do. Things will start happening. It's like stopping a log jam. You only need to move a tiny little bit off, like one log to move a log jam, and things will start breaking up. You'll start getting, for example, in the dam story, pull one log out and water will start going through. Then you pull another one out. So you only need to make small changes. Pay attention little by little, and the water and the life and the flow will start coming through. You'll start getting those ideas. Your life will start shifting. And if what you want to do is make a difference, ideas will come through for that. If what you want to do is love more or be more or have more, whatever it is, new thoughts will start coming through. You'll start getting shaken awake in certain ways. Like I said, it could be a thunderbolt idea. It might not be. It could be more than you ever dreamed possible. But you just need to pay attention. And feeling stuck is a good thing. Because when you feel stuck, you know it. Some people never know they're stuck. They just live the same life over and over again. So if you're listening to this, jump up and down and say, yay, I'm aware. That's a huge step. So many people never change their life. They never know that they want more. Or if they know they want more, they never take a step to do anything about it. That part is huge. It's so big for you. And it's something that you need to congratulate yourself for taking these steps for you. And when you look back at what's working and being grateful, what's not working and just being aware of what it is, and then looking at what's missing, and you're being aware of what's missing, you're going to be able to take those steps to start trusting yourself and shifting wherever you want to so that you can come up with what's next. What more do I want? Where am I going from here? You'll know all the steps little by little. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you love the show, make sure you rate, review, and share this podcast and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Connect with me on Facebook or by email with questions and comments, ideas for future episodes, or if you would like to be a guest, give me a shout out and I'll send you an application. Until next week, remember, you are already enough to have that joyful, limitless life that you desire.
Thank you for listening to Connect to Joy. If you love the show, make sure you rate, review, and share this podcast. And subscribe so you never miss an episode. Contact the host, DeChaine, with questions and comments, ideas for future episodes, or if you would like to become a guest. And remember, transformation is a journey and not an end destination. So be kind to yourself, because you are already enough to have the joyful, limitless life that you desire.